When they decided to begin the demolition process to rebuild the house, Abu Wab bin Amr bin Aid bin Abd bin Imran bin Makhzum took a stone from the Kaaba. The stone slipped from his hand and went back to where it had been. He said, "O people of Quraysh, do not spend on rebuilding the house, except from what was earned from pure sources. No money earned from a prostitute, usury, or injustice should be included." Ibn Ishaq commented here that the people also attribute these words to Al-Walid bin al-Mughira bin Abdullah bin Amr bin Makhzum. Ibn Ishaq continued, "The Quraysh began to organize their efforts to rebuild the Kaaba, each sub-tribe taking the responsibility of rebuilding a designated part of it. However, they were still weary about bringing down the Kaaba. Al-Walid bin al-Mughira said, "I will start to bring it down." He held an axe and stood by the Kaaba and said, "O Allah, no harm is meant. O Allah, we only seek to do a good service." He then started to chop the house's stones. The people waited that night and said, "We will wait and see. If something strikes him, we will not bring it down and instead reboot it the way it was. If nothing happens to him, then Allah will have agreed to what we are doing." The next morning, Al-Walid went to work on the Kaaba, and the people started bringing the Kaaba down with him. When they reached the foundations that Ibrahim built, they uncovered green stones that were above each other, just like a pile of spears. Ibn Ishaq then said that some people told him, a man from Quraysh, who was helping rebuild the Kaaba, placed the shovel between two of these stones to pull them up. When one of the stones was moved, all of Makkah shook, so they did not dig up these stones. The dispute regarding who should place the black stone in its place. Ibn Ishaq said, "The tribes of Quraysh collected stones to rebuild the house, each tribe collecting on their own. They started rebuilding it until the rebuilding of the Kaaba reached the point where the black stone was to be placed in its designated site. A dispute erupted between the various tribes of Quraysh, each seeking the honor of placing the black stone for their own tribe. The dispute almost led to violence between the leaders of Quraysh in the area of the sacred house. Banu Abd-Dar and Banu Adi bin Ka'b bin Lu'ay gave their mutual pledge to fight until death. However, 5 or 4 days later, Abu Umayyah bin al-Mughira bin Abdullah bin Amr bin Makhzum, the oldest man from Quraysh, then intervened at the right moment. Abu Umayyah suggested that Quraysh should appoint the first man to enter the house from its entrance to be a mediator between them. They agreed. The messenger, Muhammad ﷺ, was the first person to enter the house. When the various leaders of Quraysh realized who the first one was, they all proclaimed, "This is Al-Amin. We all accept him. This is Muhammad." When the Prophet reached the area where the leaders were gathering and they informed him about their dispute, he asked them to bring a garment and place it on the ground. He placed the black stone on it. He then requested that each of the leaders of Quraysh hold the garment from one side and all participate in lifting the black stone, moving it to its designated area. Next, the Prophet carried the black stone by himself and placed it in its designated position and built around it. The Quraysh used to call the Messenger of Allah, Al-Amin, even before the revelation came to him. Ibn az-Zubayr rebuilds Al-Kaaba the way the Prophet wished. Ibn Ishaq said, "During the time of the Prophet, the Kaaba was 18 cubits high and was covered with Egyptian linen, and they with a striped garment. Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf was the first person to cover it with silk. The Kaaba remained the same way the Quraysh rebuilt it, until it was burned during the reign of Abdullah bin az-Zubayr after the year 600 at the end of the reign of Yazid bin Muawiyah. During that time, Ibn az-Zubayr was besieged at Makkah. When it was burned, Ibn az-Zubayr brought the Kaaba down and built it upon the foundations of Ibrahim, including the Hijr in it,